Good morning, children. Hope you did your test well. Few of you have not submitted. You have to give me a reason when we meet in Zoom class tomorrow. Okay? Hope you're finishing your notebook work also simultaneously. Today, we'll be starting with D part of this chapter, that is greenhouse effect and global warming. The other day in Zoom class, I had taught a little bit. Now we'll just quickly mark it. Okay? So first is define greenhouse effect. So it starts here: process of warming of planet's surface and its lower atmosphere by absorption of infrared radiations of long wavelength emitted out from the surface of planet by greenhouse gases including water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide. Okay, so it's a long definition. So the parts are process of warming of planet's earth, okay, and its lower atmosphere, absorption of infrared radiations of long wavelength by greenhouse gases that include water vapor, all this. Okay, these are the three main parts of this definition: process of warming of planet's surface by absorption of infrared radiations of long wavelength emitted due to greenhouse gases that include water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, etc. That is the definition. Next, so this is the explanation. As I told you, you don't have to go detailed into it. The sun rays will come as long wavelength radiations. So these layers will allow them to come in. But after reflection here, they become short wavelength radiations. Now, when they try to go out, they cannot go. I'm sorry. They come in as short wavelength radiations and they go out as long wavelength. Okay, visible light and infrared radiations of short wavelength, they come inside. This layer will allow them to come inside. Okay, but these short wavelength radiations, when they come and they get reflected here, they become long wavelength radiations and they will try to escape out. But this layer will not allow long wavelength radiation to pass through it. So what happens? These long wavelength radiations remain inside the Earth's atmosphere, and that's how temperature keeps rising. This is called greenhouse effect. Now, the few important things you should know in this are: name some greenhouse gases. Okay, greenhouse gases that are responsible for this greenhouse effect. Some of them are carbon dioxide, water vapor, methane, and chlorofluorocarbon. Carbon dioxide, you know, okay, water vapor, methane, chlorofluorocarbons. These are the ones that comes from refrigerator, air conditioner, and etc. Okay, the next thing you should know is one thing you should know, children: greenhouse gases, it should not be too less or too high. Now, there is a particular level that has to be maintained. There is a particular amount of greenhouse gases naturally present. That will be fine. But because of human activities, now these greenhouse gases are going on increasing. So that is the problem. Okay. So they have given a little comparison. If greenhouse gases were not present at all, absence of greenhouse gases, imagine there was no greenhouse gas on the surface of Earth, then you know what would have happened? All the heat would have escaped. Okay, nothing would have stayed here. So the temperature would have been minus 18 degrees Celsius. That's very low. On the other hand, increase in proportion. Okay, if it increases quite a lot, then the temperature will go above 15.5 degree Celsius. Now the conclusion is a right proportion of greenhouse gases is essential. Not too less, not too high. Main thing is here, if the greenhouse gases were absent, the temperature would have fallen to minus 18 degree Celsius. Okay. Then, so what is the present condition? It is expected that, as you know, that now also every year the temperature is increasing. Okay, this year 2 days back in a place called Churu in Rajasthan, they said the temperature was 50 degrees Celsius. Okay, that day we had 40 degrees Celsius and we felt so hot. Just imagine how it will be to be in 50 degrees Celsius, and they're expecting that it's going to keep on increasing every year at least by some value, and by the end of this decade, end of this century, sorry, by the end of this century, that is when we finish 2100, okay, we go to the next century, the Earth's average temperature will rise to 64 degrees Celsius. Okay, the maximum temperature will be around 64 degrees Celsius. You can just imagine how hot it will be if this condition is going to continue. Okay, so it's something very alarming and for us to think about. Okay, next thing is, what are the human activities responsible for? So now, because these greenhouse gases are increasing, that is leading to increase in greenhouse effect. So now, where these gases are coming from? Where these gases are coming from? That's very important. So the human activities are responsible, of course. So for increase in carbon dioxide, what are the various human activities responsible? First, burning of fuel, deforestation, transportation, and industrial production. Okay, particularly cement factories. You know how much buildings are coming up. For that, they need so much cement. So cement is manufactured and so much of carbon dioxide is emitted out. Okay, deforestation leads to, yeah, then increase in population. Okay, human beings, we keep emitting lots of carbon dioxide, right? So more population, more carbon dioxide. Third one, imbalance of carbon dioxide cycle. So there is a carbon dioxide cycle, right? Carbon cycle we call, but there is lots of imbalance because the carbon dioxide produced is so much, the plants and the animals are not able to absorb it. Okay, so even if you don't write the whole thing, it's right. This much you have to write. Okay, what are the human activities responsible for increase in carbon dioxide gas? Now the next important greenhouse gas is methane. Now these two play a very important role, carbon dioxide and methane. Now where does methane come from? See this: rice cultivation, animal husbandry, natural gas exploration, burning of biomass in clearing of forests, and leakage in natural gas pipeline has doubled the concentration of methane. Can you think of, children, rice cultivation, animal husbandry? Okay, see, biogas. Now, animals, more the animals, the more the cow dung. Okay, more gobar. And it has lots of methane. So the earth is going to be filled with more methane. Now that is how using biomass or animals, having more animals is going to increase the level of methane that will be leading to greenhouse effect. So these two things are important. Now this leads to global warming. So greenhouse effect leads to global warming. Okay, so what is global warming? Increase in the average effective temperature near the Earth's surface due to an increase in amount of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Increase in average effective temperature, this one, due to increase in amount of greenhouse gases. Okay, in greenhouse effect, you have to talk about long wavelength radiations and all that. So in this, it was important to say absorption of long wavelength radiations emitted by greenhouse gases. Here, that need not be mentioned. You just have to say increase in average effective temperature due to increase in amount of greenhouse gases. And then again, they have shown a little calculation how they're expecting that by the year 2100, the temperature can reach 64 degrees Celsius. It's enough if you remember this number, that's enough. Again, causes of global warming. Everything comes out to be the same. Cause of global warming is more greenhouse gases. More greenhouse gases, mainly carbon dioxide and methane. Now these are the things. So together they have given here cause of global warming. It's an increase in concentration of greenhouse gases, and the increase in different greenhouse gases is as follows. Concentration of carbon dioxide has increased up to 25% due to all this. Concentration of methane has doubled due to rice cultivation, animal husbandry. Again, we saw it there. Concentration of chlorofluorocarbons has increased at the rate of 5% per year. This is due to the use of more and more air conditioners, refrigerators, etc. So more and more CFCs are being emitted. So these are the three reasons for causes for global warming, we can say. Now the next thing is impact of global warming on life on Earth. Impact of global warming on life on Earth. So the present condition. So there are two things. What is the present situation because of global warming, and what are the future predictions? Now present condition, if you see, because of this, climates have changed drastically. Some places have become too hot, some places become too cold. So what it has led, forced people and animals to migrate from one place to another. Okay. Second, change in blooming season of different plants. Everything has changed. Spring season, okay, autumn, everything there is a change. Third one, change in regional climate, which has an immediate effect on simple organisms and plants. Okay, ecosystem, and then those even the bacteria, fungi, and everything gets affected. Then fourth one, change in world's ecology. Fifth one, increase in heat stroke deaths. These days it's so common. When the temperature soars so high, many death happen due to heat stroke. Okay, so this is the present condition. Now future predictions. If this goes on like this, already it started getting bad. If it's going to go on like this, in future we're going to have much worse situations. What are the future predictions? Okay, first is dislocation and disappearance of plant and animal species. Now they are moving from one place to another. After some time, if this continues, they will just disappear, they will just die. 30% of plants and animal species will be vanishing by 2050. 70% by the will vanish by the end of year 2100. You can imagine a world not having plants and animals. We'll be just having machines and all those stuff. That's going to be a very hard life. Next effect is warming of ocean. Okay, so oceans, the temperature of oceans are increasing so much, because of which many species in the ocean will either die or they will disappear. Third one, melting of glaciers. This you all know, this happens at the poles mainly. So due to global warming, frozen tundra in Siberia has started melting. So this is in the northern pole. So North Pole, Greenland has experienced 32 glacial earthquakes. Okay, so frozen glaciers are melting, glacial earthquakes are happening. Now, what if this is going to continue? See the conclusion. This is going to continue. Arctic snow cover is expected to be ice free. Okay, the Arctic snow cover will be completely gone. It will be completely gone by end of September 2037. It's not too far, just 17 years more, and the snow cover is going to completely vanish off, and that is going to lead to what? Global sea level rise in the sea level at the rate of 3.1 millimeter per year. Already the sea level has been rising, and yeah, sea is coming into the land nowadays. So this is going to happen. Okay, then shifting in farming region. Another problem could be shifting in farming region. Now because the low altitudes are becoming very hot, yield will be very poor. Warming of nearly 3 degrees Celsius will result in poor yield in low altitude. So this will lead to increase in malnutrition. You know, in many places, even these days, because of lack of rain, there is so much of drought. They plant something, but the crops fail. They don't come out properly, and that has led to so much of malnutrition. Okay, so then people will start shifting from low altitude to high altitude. Farmers now will have to shift from low altitude to high altitude. Then increase in new diseases and heat related deaths. This has already started happening, and it is predicted that if the global warming continues, many new diseases will emerge because bacteria can survive better in increased temperature and they can multiply faster. Virus, they are hoping that it will not survive much in high temperature. So that's why we are expecting coronavirus to effect to decline in summers, but bacterias, we don't know. That is also, they are just hoping. Still experiment is going on, but bacterias will survive better. Mosquitoes will also multiply like anything because of increase in humidity, and that is all going to cause lots of diseases and heat strokes, okay, heat related deaths. Okay, change in regional climate, same way. Changes in climate, this all are interrelated, nothing specific. Increase in cost of air conditioning, that is also, now change in sea level. Another important thing that can happen is, it's already started happening, due to melting of ice, area of sea ice around both the poles is shrinking, okay. Ice covered glaciers are shrinking. It is expected that in the next 50 years the ice at both the poles will melt completely, and therefore the sea level will rise. Okay, this is what will happen to sea level. And then what, now how is that this going to be a problem? Now if sea level rises, water will start coming into the now in coastal areas, little bit away from the ocean, there are houses, buildings and all that. Now as the sea level rises and rises, water will now, buildings and roads in the coastal areas will get flooded. Whenever there is rain or anything, these buildings and roads are going to get flooded, and they could suffer damage from hurricanes and tropical storms. These are already happening in coastal areas like Chennai and Bengal and all that. So this can continue more. Now, the last part of it is ways to minimize impact of global warming. Okay, so they have given in separate headings: technological measure, economic measure, policy measure. If you just remember it as points, it's enough. First one is use of renewable sources of energy. So this I've been hearing all the time. Change from fossil fuel to renewable sources like wind energy, tidal energy, solar energy and all that. First thing that we could do. Second one, change of transportation vehicles. The next major source is transportation. Vehicles emit lots of greenhouse gases. So it has to be shifted to battery operated vehicles. So you can just write change of transportation vehicles to battery operated vehicles. That will reduce carbon dioxide emission drastically. The third possibility is, okay, use of biochar stoves. Now, biogas is a very, very good source of energy, but as I told you, it emits lots of methane, which is again a greenhouse gas. So we need to use those gobar. We need to use it in biogas plants, but without emitting much methane. For that, there is they have invented a stove called biochar stoves, okay, which it will release smokeless gases, okay, smokeless combustible gases, and that will not affect the environment. Then the fourth point could be, you can just study as continuous points. Fourth point, reforestation, sustainable use of land. You know that reforestation, plant more trees. Fifth one, industries to pay carbon tax. This is a very interesting point. Okay, every industry, depending upon the amount of carbon they are emitting into the atmosphere, they have to pay a carbon tax. Okay, this tax is calculated on the basis of carbon emission from the industry, number of employees and turnover of the industry. Now, this will at least help the industries to take care that they don't emit more carbon dioxide into the environment. Okay, then sixth point, educating children to live sustainable lifestyle, not just living for your greed but living only for your need. Okay, so that is called sustainable lifestyle. And the last is controlling population through family planning, welfare reforms and empowerment of women. So these are the 7 possible ways in which the impact of global warming could be reduced. Okay, now I'll quickly mark the question answers and tell you what all to write. Hope you all have marked everything as I've been discussing. Now quickly come to the exercise. First question, second question, third question, and all directly you will write. Third, you don't have to write in your notebook because it's one word answer only. Okay, so first and second you will write. Fourth question, strike it off and please take this. What are the human activities responsible for increase in carbon dioxide? Second subpart, increase in methane in the atmosphere. Please pause it and note it down. And the answer, as I told you, for carbon dioxide, these 3 things. For methane, this paragraph. Then your fifth question will be, again, you don't have to write. It's in the book itself you can study. Sixth also is what would have been the temperature of Earth's atmosphere in absence of greenhouse gases? Minus 18 degree Celsius. Okay, then come to ninth question. Seventh question. Effect of greenhouse gases on the temperature of Earth's atmosphere. These three lines will be the answer. Average temperature rises up to 64 degrees Celsius by the end of this century. Eighth one, global warming definition. What do you mean by global warming? That's the definition. Now, question number 9 and 10, they both have the same answer. So what you do, you write it as a single question. What are the causes? What causes the rise in atmospheric temperature? Or it can be asked as causes of global warming. What are the causes of global warming? Or it can be asked, what are the causes of increase of greenhouse effect? For all the three things, answer will be the same. That is cause of global warming. These 3 points you will write. Okay. So you write it as a single question and write only once. That's enough. Now come to the next one. Effect of global warming at poles. That is here, melting of glacier. So this paragraph, these 4 points, okay, till this you have to write for effect at poles. Then effect in coastal regions. This is the point you will write for that, till sea level will rise. Then next one, effect, how does it affect agriculture? As I told you, farmers will have to shift. Okay, so you write this point, poor yield, it is leading to poor yield in low altitude, so farmers have to shift from low altitude to high altitude. And the last one, state, not the last one, 15th one, state 5 ways to minimize impact of global warming. So you have marked 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can write any 5. Okay. So you don't have to write the whole paragraph. As I told you, this one only these 3 points. This one, change of transportation vehicle to battery operated vehicles. Then use of biochar stoves which will release smokeless gases. Okay. This doesn't need much explanation. Industries to pay carbon tax based on the basis of carbon emission from industry. Okay, so like this, little more information along with this topic. Then the last one, what is carbon tax? Who will pay it? So it is paid by the industries and it is for the amount of carbon they are, okay, to check them, they have to be asked to pay carbon tax, and this is calculated like this. Okay, so this is all. That's all. This chapter is over. I know quite a lot of written work will be there. Try to finish it during the weekend. From next week, we'll be starting a new chapter. Thank you, children.